You have now entered the lab. I was Elvis Escobar, Fort Sama. We are in person doing episode 115. We do have a guest hopping on on this episode in a few minutes. We're gonna get our intro, get things out of the way. This person appeared on the podcast before in episode 100, but hasn't had a formal appearance on podcast. He's kind of making the company, the brand that he represents and owns, part of our podcast as a partnership. So
he had an appearance last time I was here in person too.
Was that 100?
No, Vito and Dylan were here.
Oh, that's when we had a crazy. Yeah. That was like 2 hours. Yeah, very true. So if you're watching us, obviously we're in person, so no split screen. When we have that guest on, we'll have double boxes, but good to have you, Fort Sama, in the lab.
Good to be here. Always a pleasure.
How's your week been going down since you've been down here visiting?
I mean, like you said a few times, I've been a shell of myself. I've done some things down here that I normally don't do. Just saving for when I come down here and visit, keeping once a quarterly of a year type stuff. And been doing a lot of sleeping. Been laying down on the couch. Watched some long ass movies. I watched The Revenant.
Was that your first time watching it?
No, I've seen it before.
Okay.
But great movie. And then yesterday I watched Gladiator. So
in my top 3 / top 4, 5.
Top tier film. So yeah, I mean, I've hung out at the house mostly. And then I mean, besides that, I was in Delray.
Yeah, I was gonna say you attended the wedding.
Delray. Yes. I went to the wedding on Friday night. Shout out Dom and Britt. Thank you guys for the invite. Thank you guys for having me there. It was a great time. Open bar. Ooh, a lot of good friends.
Did that go late, or was that like an hour restriction type? Like
no, it was we was drinking pretty much the whole night.
After parties?
Yeah, it was till 11.
And then did you like did
I left after.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
I think I left around 10:30.
There's like a group of bad people that they hang around until
I'm
late.
Sure it happened somewhere. But
yeah.
No, I was like, I'm going to keep driving down to South Florida tomorrow morning or the morning after. So I was like, nah, let me get out of here. But I wish you guys nothing but the best. And may you guys be together forever.
Why not? Love is love.
Of course.
We love love, podcast. So the weekend, I'm fighting it too. It was I've been trying to do better, like I talked about, like not drinking during the week, and then kind of having that one day during the weekend. No more football, so there's no reason why I should be drinking on Sundays. But this Sunday, it was like a beer Olympics thing that we had. So I drank on Saturday, hung out, had a good time going to the bar, watching Panthers game, very fun game. But then had to battle back on Sunday. We had a birthday party. You came through. Kiki was there. Vito, Dylan, Bree, myself, and we. It was basically I never did a beer Olympics like that where structure, order, stuff like that. Like usually you're at a party and you may play some games and compete in tournaments and stuff. That was the first time it was like a set. Like we had color, like team colors. We were team black. We had 6 people on our team, and there was I think 5 total. End of the story, we play pickleball, volleyball. We play eating competition, which I'll get into in a little bit. So basically, none of our team had in pickleball, so we lost that easily. Volleyball, we represented. I guess my MCL a little bit.
I'm limping
around the house today. So and then we made it to the championship round there, and then. What else did we have? We had the eating competition.
Yeah,
like I said, I'll get to last. And then we did the little relay race, like competition. Then also the blindfold spin around. Yeah. And I wasn't involved in that one, but it was a shit show for our team. So I bring up the eating competition. So I've never done eating competition either like that. I got kind of thrown into the fire there. I pop us in probably 2 minutes before I know this is happening. Didn't know I was participating. Popped this in. I was dragged in to sit down, and basically you got to eat a roll of Ritz crackers. Yeah. It finished that off, a banana, some circled small donuts,
powdered donuts,
and then drink pickle juice with the pickles. And all 4 members had to do all of it, participate. like I said, I cracked my first beer at like 9:30, 10 o'clock that Sunday morning. So I had the Zin in, participated. I think once I ate the donut, I committed, ate the crackers, and I swallowed, and all of a sudden we won. So adrenaline rush, I was happy. Then I realized, wait,
Where's
did I have
my
a
Zin?
Zin in my mouth? And then I was like, oh my God, I swallowed my Zin. So right away, instead of doing the typical like WebMD, like let's Google a bunch of like consequences if you swallow like a tobacco pouch, which I'm probably sure it's not that bad. It could be. I was like, you know what? I'm drunk. Nothing's going to get good out of it if I Google it because it'll all scare me.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just wait for it to poop out later. Didn't take a poop all day, of course. And then this morning, took one, normal. Second one, it was soup. Very soupy.
Was it in there?
I looked for it. I didn't look for it as far as touching and moving things around. I just gave a gander, as everybody does give a gander at their poop. You know, it's as a man, sometimes it's prideful to look at your poop and look what you created. But yeah, it was not a good situation that I should look at for more than 5 seconds. So flush that thing, and I'm pretty sure it's out of me because there's no way that the first bowel movement was normal and then the second one was what it was within 2 hours. So I know it came out of me. So I survived. Just so everybody know, if you eat a Zin, you won't be sick the next day.
It's funny you say that because I gave my coworker one a few months ago, and this guy started chewing that shit. I'm like, no, bro. I'm like, no, you're not supposed to chew this.
Oh, you didn't give him what it is and how to do it. he just popped it in.
He just started chewing it. He didn't even give me a chance to explain it to him. He just started chewing that, and then this motherfucker got hiccups. He was like, yeah. Every like 2 minutes, he started hiccuping. I'm like, bro, I'm walking away. I can't be next to you right now.
That is
get away from me.
That is the worst. That is the worst when you get hiccups. Wow.
So it was funny, man.
That's hilarious.
Ever since then, he hasn't popped another Zin. I offered him a few weeks ago. He was like, nah, I don't want that shit. I'm like, bro, just pop it in your gum and let it ride. You ruined the experience for me.
Right away, which is probably for the best. You know, not everybody has to do that. So I sent you the link for our guest. Do you have it? And do you want to send it to him now?
Yeah, we can
let's send it to him now. We want to do the intro. Obviously, this episode is brought to you by Broward Vintage, your vintage clothing, not only like old school stuff, but modern day stuff, jeans, tops, shirts, jackets. He even sold recently on eBay. I think it was a couple nautical like watches or something like that.
Yeah.
But he didn't know the value of it. He posted online. Somebody bought like a bunch of them for like way more than he thought profit wise that it was going to sell for. So it's cool because he had a bid on it. So he sells a little bit of everything.
He's going to be on the lookout for those now.
Yeah. posting a little of everything. So if you're like myself that likes throwback jerseys, throwback hats, some vintage clothing. I know you like a lot of like either Miami stuff or anything Miami, but Dolphins and Marlins stuff. So right now the Panthers and Rangers are playing, which is going to be a good game. Yeah, a lot of fights are going to be in the next couple of periods. But yeah, so check the link in bio, of course. And we sent the link to Broward Vintage, Ben Cohen. We will, without wasting any more time, we're going to have Ben of Broward Vintage, official proud sponsor of the pod, enter the lab. What's going on, brother?
What's going on? Elvis Escobar, Fort Sama, enter the lab, exit the lab.
Yeah, you're in your little lab situation.
I told both of these guys, I'm gonna treat this like a Tonight Show spot. I'm gonna pull tricks out of my sleeves. I'm gonna be cracking jokes. I just want to say, love you guys. Always listen to your show every week, and I love that this is a safe place that we can not only talk about poop and broads. I mean, this is just a safe place
for
everybody.
My guy, it's a pleasure finally having you on here, man. I know you got the fire ass setup. I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see it. I know you picked some of those out specifically for tonight. You're like, all right, I need to have this one. I need to have this one. I know you thought about it before coming on for sure.
Oh, you always got to be fresh. If there's any questions about the business, people got to see like something cool. Just like Ray's got a thick shirt on tonight. you know, just to promote the business. You know, anytime someone's like, oh, that's a really cool shirt, that just leads into a convo that can promote your business if you're in public, which is awesome.
Hell yeah. And before we get into maybe like your story, like I said, you've been on a couple times in person, and when we've done, you know, the episode 100 and had people over and we recorded, had some fun, but this is a kind of like more of a formal, but also, you know, obviously we're all boys, so we talk every day or every week. So if you can you show a little bit of your setup, maybe some of like video games, DVDs? I don't know if you have your setup where you can just move it real quick and just give a little tour of what you have.
You guys drinking anything tonight?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I got a little cocktail
Sponsored by Corona.
Ford. I don't think
UFC.
I don't think Ford drinking for
the Corona.
I don't think Ford drinking for the next week after his week he had.
I'm drinking water.
So yeah, just a little tour of your lab you got going on.
All right, because you guys are on the tripod right now.
Mm.
We got video games over here. We got a little bit of everything. I can't see what you guys are seeing right now.
It's okay.
We got the Panthers game playing. Go Cats.
Go Cats.
We got some video games hooked up.
Old school TV. What do you?
That's the clean side of the of my lab.
What game consoles do you have? You got N64.
I got a bunch, but honestly, hooked up right now. N64, GameCube, PS2, and the Genocide.
The Genesis. Let's go.
Genesis. Genesis is very.
Not too many people own and operate that these days.
Yo, so can I just say, as we like to say on the lab, time to pop us in and lock the fuck in. Nobody says that. I just
nobody has ever said that, but now we're gonna have to every episode. We're
pop us in earlier, and I'm like, that was one of my starting. That's one of my starting lines. He already.
There you go. I think we're gonna have to start every. I already popped mine right before we started.
When it comes to Zins, are you guys tops or bottoms?
Upper decky.
I started doing bottom before I knew, but what I've realized is when you put it in the bottom of your gums, it goes to your bloodstream quicker.
Oh yeah.
So it used to give me too much of a rush right away, and I was like, ooh, I don't like that. So almost like an upper decky is like more time release and slower. So I've learned don't do bottom lip because that will give you the nicotine too fast, especially with the sixes.
Like I do the threes. You do the sixes.
Yeah, I got the threes too.
We were celebrating Dylan's birthday. I hadn't eaten anything, but I'd been drinking. And he gives me a Zin, and it's a 6. I didn't even think about that, but I'm fine the entire thing. I spit it out when it's done, and I'm sitting there talking to Shrimp, and everything's fine. And I'm like, yo, I need to go to the bathroom real quick.
Yeah, you get the cold sweats a little bit.
Oh man, it was bad. And then I was fine right after that. I'm like, you know what, Bree, can I have some food? And she gave me like trail mix or something. One of the healthy snacks.
Yeah, you learn early on. I think anybody that, especially, you know, you don't vape, you don't smoke cigarettes, nor do I, nor does Fort. So like doing something like this where it's a little nicotine rush while you're drinking, hanging out. It's funny. Everybody has the same process of the first time you do it, not planned out. You just do it and you get a little sick in a way because your body's just adjusting. So
So I also want to address that, you know, we had a deal, you know, I do like your show. I get to promote my OnlyFans account. So I'm going to drop a link in bio, and also if you guys need any customs of my feed or anything. No, I'm just kidding.
Hello. So
I'm going to be cracking jokes all day.
On this podcast for people who listen every week, probably 8 episodes ago, I kind of told you your story from my perspective, what you told me and what I've seen from you. But tell us, obviously, or people that do shop on the site, the whatnot and eBay. Tell us from how you got into it early on, and then how it evolved into, you know, being one of the most successful on eBay as a clothing company.
That's an honor I don't deserve right there at the end, but I appreciate you believing in me like that. But I gotta say, like, starting as a hobby, the best things in life, like if you can turn a hobby that you love into a business, you'll never work a day in your life. I mean, you'll still work, but it'll feel less like work. But you know, started just going to thrift stores, trying to find like, you know, rap t-shirts and band t-shirts I grew up with, anything that was nostalgic, because I've always been into like old stuff and movies and pop culture. And you know, COVID shut things down, and I was already selling on eBay and doing like my thrifting on the weekends when I was because it you know, when you spend so much time doing something, the best thing to do is if you can find a way to make money off it. That's so became picking up stuff for myself to picking up stuff that I knew was worth money to sell. But once COVID shut everything down, I was able to really pick up the pace because I was working from home, and I realized I'm making more than my salary. I could do this full time, and I literally quit my job during COVID, and best decision I've ever made in my life.
Yeah. How many different thrift stores are you hitting? Like when you first started, were you just looking for specific things? How did you realize, okay, this is something that I could really do? And then you started branching
having
out
like a
onto
strategy
different
behind
ones.
it.
Yeah, dude, honestly, I used to get off of work at 6 o'clock in Boca and then just drive through all the way down to Fort Lauderdale. I'd probably hit I'll start with the early stores and then go with the ones that close at 9. But literally 3 hours after work would just be like driving through rush hour, get out as many stores as possible. And then that became, I'm also going to go to what are called the bins or rag houses on the weekend. And, you know, once I was doing that, it became pretty much as long as it's the weekend, I'm going there or to a flea market, just somewhere where I can look through more clothes. And once COVID hit and I left my job, it became go to those kind of places every day, flea markets, the bins, which are like giant warehouses for clothes.
I was about to say, before we stray further on,
try to break it down.
With the bins.
Yeah, because bins are like a situation where if I can see it for myself, I wouldn't A, understand it, or B, know how crazy it can be. So yeah, go into a little detail of how crazy thrifting can be, real thrift.
Yeah. What was that last part?
As far as going to the things, like share some of the stories, some of the craziness go on. Like, people are out there hunting, like real deal.
Oh my god! So I brought Ray with me. He's just like, hey, I really want to see what you do. I'm interested, and I brought him to the bins, which is literally, I mean, they basically say everybody behind the line. Like when they open the doors to that place, everyone's pushing and shoving. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's a few times where someone's tried me. I'm great at fucking.
Yeah, it's a battle royal.
But literally, like, mostly Haitian women, honestly, and Hispanic women. But then, like, there's a lot of people like me who are doing what I do, they're the nicer people. It's really like the people who are just hardly speak any English, or they're not even looking for what you're looking for, but they're the
lot of Haitians
in the store. Yeah,
I'm just trying to find clean.
It's a very
clothes.
big culture because they send the clothes back, but when during the round. Nobody is their friend, not even the people they came there with. Friends in the car, they go home in the same car. They're not friends. But then after the round, they start trading stuff.
Yeah.
They always let me go through their stuff. I can't tell you how many times they've handed me something that I've been able to sell for $1,000, and they know it. That at least that it's worth money. But they don't want any of the same stuff to send over there.
Yeah, it's so weird because that's what I experienced. Where it's such
the first time you walked in, you saw it literally.
First time. Literally, like I said, they line up at 8. They open the doors at 8 exactly, and it's a mad rush. And I've never seen a situation where individuals, while they're looking for what they need, are so selfish. But then once that energy goes down and everybody calms down a little bit, a couple hours in, everybody's like unselfish. Like, oh, I have that thing. Do you need this? And then they're trading it and swapping it. So it took me a couple times.
It's like a hockey game, you know what I mean? Like once, you know, bro, it's part of the culture at this point.
Yeah, especially
every single kind of place like that you go to has a different crowd, and it's very different. Thankfully, the ones that we've been to have, you know, it's almost like a big community of people who all end up helping each other. You know what I mean? Some places everyone's kind of selfish. You pointed, did something just happen?
Yeah, Reinhardt just scored.
Who did?
Reinhardt.
No way. You sent me.
Yeah, I needed that.
He's back on fire again.
Hard Rock boosted the Panthers at plus money, so I took it.
But I don't care.
At the end of the first half, I doubled up. The first period, I doubled up.
Ooh, one thing I wanted to.
What a great last name. Sorry.
What was I gonna say? What are some of the things now that you're like, obviously you've learned, obviously we've talked, you know, one-on-one, like last year was a little difficult personal wise for you, business wise. So you had so much, in 2020, 2021, 2022, you know, obviously as an entrepreneur, you have to put in all the work. You were going to the bins and throwing 6 days a week sometimes when we first.
Oh yeah, no, I
Man.
mean there was a time when I quit my job, I was going 7 days a week all in because at that time I wasn't even thinking about it, but during COVID, like my best investment at that time like was just buying a house prior to that, and that was a big part of my payment when my wife and I were ready to go in on a house together. And yeah, once I quit my job though, I was literally 7 days a week all in grind, like. And then, last year there was just a lot going on. I got married. My dad passed away. Just a bunch of crazy stuff. And we moved. So it was kind of like my worst year since I stopped. But now I'm finally back in the swing of things. And you can ask Ray, we're going all in this year.
Yeah, you go and then I go.
Very thankful for your help too, Ray.
Oh, of course. It's a partnership. It's good.
When you're about to lock in and go thrifting, what are some of the things that you focus on without, kind of dropping too many gems? Do you have a game plan for it, or you kind of just go in like, if I find this cool? Do you have a budget? How are you processing that through your head before you walk in?
So you know what? I always say this. I always say to people, the best part about being like someone who's been in it longer than newcomers is that you see things that you wouldn't have seen when you started out. So at this point, I'm sure clothing line, anything I see pretty much, I know if there's value there. I might miss something, but like I'll look it up. If it feels nice at this point, I'm looking it up. But I gotta say, just the knowledge there. I go into a store, anything that I can make money off of, I'm picking up. As far as clothes or even sometimes electronics, I just made a few $100 off something I picked up for $20.
Yeah, I love the whatnots that you do, because
that's honestly just to pay the bills, Yeah, that's using stuff that I wouldn't necessarily consider eBay quality all the time. Some of it is, but some of it's almost like it has the look, it would sell better on whatnot, and people would value it a little bit higher than they would on eBay because they don't care as much about brand.
And it's about the tags. I've got a good thing going. I like that. Whatnot's pretty cool. I don't think that many people even still know about whatnot.
I couldn't hear that last part.
I said I still don't think that many people even know about whatnot.
Yeah, honestly, I heard early on. I might be wrong on this, but I remember when it first started, someone mentioned the Paul brothers were early investors in it. Could be wrong. Look, we'll look into that. We'll get to the guys behind the scenes of the lab to look into that.
Yeah.
Like when Joe Rogan has his buddy check facts while he's talking.
Yeah, we'll get Jay on the case. I love that.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, Fort, did you see the video? I know this is so off topic, but this is what you signed up for: 30 minutes of ADHD with Ben Cohen.
Yeah,
my brother calls it diarrhea of the mouth. I call it ADHD.
Let's go, please.
No, right. You guys are so ahead of us.
All right, good thing.
Yeah, don't tell me who got it. I'll wait for it to come and then celebrate it. Oh wow, they're setting it up. One thing, Reinhardt again? Are you kidding me?
One thing I did want to ask you was, obviously, like in 2020 with COVID, a lot of people became entrepreneurs. There was part-time, realizing that, job you either got go for a job or like you, where it's like you had some free time working from home, you could focus on other things. And I always heard that for years, everybody, people want to do thrifting and they think it's easy, an easy business where it's like, oh, I just find things that I could sell for cheap, because the name of the game is to buy it for. The name of the game is to buy it for a few bucks and then sell it, obviously, for 200 times even more than you bought it for. But like one thing you touched on that I've learned a lot from going to the bin, just talking to you, was how much you need to know. And like product knowledge is so key, because without knowing how much you're going to, right? You could have all the inventory in the world. If it doesn't sell, you're not making any money. Now you're in the red where like you spent all this money on inventory and it's not selling. So I think in 2024, like we've discussed, now you're focused on like quality over quantity. That's how did, like, obviously through the process of like learning, like it was just trial and error, obviously for the first few years or whatever. And then you kind of knew, and then also, for years of you growing up, you kind of know a little of what sells, what's cool, staying in the trends, stuff like that. So to just talk about like what's trending now, what are some things you're looking for that you post a lot now on the eBay account?
Yeah, and I want to say, just not just knowledge of what you're selling, but also knowledge of eBay has helped a lot, or just any platform you're selling for online and how to make it work. Because I was thankful enough that I was doing this for a couple of years before I quit my job, because I really wasn't sure. I always wanted to make the leap, but it wasn't until I could put that extra time in at home when we were all stuck in our houses that I knew it was possible. But yeah, I really think the most valuable thing in thrifting, it's your time. Finding a thing that can sell for 200 times what you're paying, in theory, would be easy, like to find stuff. Like you said, thrifting could be easy if you take it a certain way, but to make it a full-time business, it becomes a little bit tougher. But it's really the most valuable thing is your time, consistency going, because it's very oversaturated with people who are thrifting at this point in time.
Yeah. So
I forgot, you probably asked something else, and I totally
No, you're good. You're good.
So I know we kind of touched base on product knowledge, but not only is that super important because obviously your product is what sells, but having worked at a thrift store myself, I kind of got to see both ends of it. I would see what customers were looking for, and like I would see what I was looking for as well when stuff would come in. So that helped me a lot. But how people would do this with me a lot. I understand business is business, especially if you're trying to post something online and flip it. Are you bartering with these people, or not bartering? Sorry, are you negotiating with them on prices before you go buy something? Do you do it a lot? And you talk about diarrhea of the mouth, but we call it gift of the gab. You got to be personable to do it as well.
Build relationships.
Is that something you've always had in you, or did you build that up a lot more as you got more confident when you were looking for
things? It's funny. Like I've always thought that, like you don't hear it until you hear it from other people. Really, like I didn't think I had as many friends as I do, but everyone's like, "You have so many friends," and I'm like, "This isn't even." We'll be like, I had my birthday party. Everyone's like, "You have so many friends." I'm like, "No, this is like 1,000 of them." And I have what I thought was a small circle, but it's a big circle of great people. And honestly, just I've always been personable. I think I get that from my dad. He was an accountant, word of mouth. Like he never advertised to get business, and it grew beyond what he could handle. But honestly, it's just being personable with people, setting up relationships, and like you said, so. I don't, if I'm at the thrift store, I can't haggle, but if I'm at like the flea market, I can like make deals with people, or if I'm doing a sellout selling to somebody else, if that's what you meant. I don't know if you meant like me buying from somebody or selling, but whether I'm meeting someone, buying from them, we come up with a price, or if they want to trade for stuff that I have, just to, they need new inventory, I do. Like I have a buddy who sells a lot of military stuff. I could sell it myself, but it would benefit me if I just save that for him. He'll value it at what it's worth and trade me stuff I need or buy it. But it's really, if you build a good web of people, it becomes a lot easier to source and everything, which is a real big thing. You have to be consistently sourcing good stuff. And then trend. I want to talk about those, bro. Baggy is somehow back in. People are rocking like Echo, South Pole. I don't understand it, but it's back. People who've never touched a tool in their lives are wearing Carhartt now. But yeah, I mean, like the times are always changing, and like you said, got to stay on top of trends, and it's a big part of the business. And even just listing, saving, let's say, all the Christmas stuff you have, list it before Christmas. That's the best time for it to sell at max dollars. So even trend in eBay is pretty important for the business.
Yeah, you don't want to list something Christmas at Christmas.
Yeah.
It's already too late. Yeah.
But it's like Lily Pulitzer stuff, for example, for women. A couple of years ago,
big in South Florida too.
Selling nonstop. Now I had to cut the prices on it because most of it's not as in as it was a couple of years ago, and you kind of learn that.
Like another 2-3 years, it'll be back.
Yeah. Oh, everything comes back. It's all in trends.
Yeah, like that product knowledge of knowing what's going to sell, what's going to move. Whether it's worth it to spend $2-3, sometimes maybe $5 on something, and I'm seeing the behind the scenes business and just knowing, all right, this hasn't moved in a little bit. What, like, just pause on it. Don't invest all the money, and then it will come back. But you have so many business relationships with people, and that's what you got to find your niche. And like you said, you have certain people where you're doing deals with just plain T-shirts. So any T-shirt you find, you have a deal with somebody that military stuff.
I witnessed him doing that when I was here after we left the bar.
Oh yeah, there's someone who pulled up to Vito's house who was
that was crazy. I forgot about that.
Sold him all my Florida Gator stuff.
He only sells Florida Gator stuff. He only does Florida Gator stuff. So I gave him a bunch of Florida Gators.
It's really cool. So it's kind of funny. One of my favorite stories, and Ray, it's something when Ray first started like thrifting with me, like back in the day. I brought him to the flea market with me, which they have another flop shop up north, and I was over there, and we were about to leave, and I see these like race car hats, just like some Jeff Gordon hats on the table, and I'm like, how much for them? He's like, oh, $2 each. I'm like, oh, awesome. And then I look, I find a couple of shirts, and like, he's like, oh, if you want to look in the back of the trailer, I have a few boxes of clothes in there. I just start pulling out like NASCAR jacket after NASCAR jacket after shirt, and Ray is watching me like, and I'm just handing him stuff. And
in his zone.
His eyes, he's not even blinking. He's just taking all these hangers. Everything's coming out of these boxes, and we go to like pay. We come up with whatever. We're walking away, and we get in the car. And he's like, bro, I see how good you are at your craft. You didn't even blink an eye. You kept the biggest poker face I've ever seen.
You have to. That's what I learned. Because if you start lighting up about anything, if you start getting excited about a product or an item, and all right, so originally they said 5, and then all of a sudden you're digging through items, and they see that you go, oh wait, I'm going to sell this item for 5, and I know, like, just not even a number, they just go, this person is excited there. So you have to have a poker face when you find good items, because you don't want to give it away so they have back the advantage of selling it to you. It's like the industry and the business of like, don't get too excited, remain calm, even if you find a fucking, what do you call grails?
A
grail. Yeah. Just like the Holy Grail, but people like to say it grails. It's honestly, if it's something desirable or that sells for a lot of money, I mean, someone's grail could be a piece of trash to somebody else,
100%.
That's the best thing. Everyone's always looking for something different than you. But everyone's kind of all looking for anything that makes money.
Yeah, no, of course. So I'm glad you just said that, because that kind of leads into my next question. Give us like 2 or 3 of your most profitable items that you found, and then like 2 or 3 of your all-time favorite items that you found. For you personally.
So I found, I'll give you the basic story first. I found a polo stadium jacket, it's called. It's like an polo collectors, you'll never see one pop up, like if ever, maybe once every 5 years, like a polo collector. The stadium collection in '92, it's for the Olympics. And it's got a guy hurdling on the back, like jumping over a hurdle, and a polo sport tank. And the jacket, my buddy who collects polos says, I haven't seen one of those pop up since 2015. And he said, someone will pay $20K for that jacket. And I'm not going to sell it. I have it in like a heat protector. I'm just waiting. I have that actually on my page. It's one of my last few posts.
Oh, wow, I didn't even know that.
Collectors go crazy.
Yeah, that's some of the things that I know that you know a lot about. Like, shout out your dad. Like, he was an avid polo rocker. So I've learned more about polo in the last year than I like to show, where even to the point where now we go to small thrifts, like we go to Mackie just to pick up clothes. I'm starting to understand like what you like, what you there's I'm watching myself even learn through you to be like, all right, this is something he's gonna like, whether it has the look or it's something, a brand name. But there's some, like in the very beginning, I was picking out everything. One of the best finds I found, I think day one, was Atlanta
jacket.
Falcons starter jacket,
Oh yeah.
which took a little bit to sell, but you sold it a couple months after, and I'll always remember that. What's that?
Yeah, too bad. If it would have been even crazier if it was like a Giants piece or something like that.
Of course.
Even though you might not ever get to wear it down here, but I'll say that also. We're trying to make you a machine. I mean, even just the way you take pictures, you're learning so much. Like, you're gonna be like another copy of me up in there, dude. I'm telling you.
Well, yeah, you're very meticulous in your business, and I take pride in when I do something. That's how I am. I'm like a perfectionist in what I do. So if I'm going to invest my time in taking a picture, I want to make sure it's the best it is, and vice versa. So what? Ford wants to show
one.
Go ahead, and then we'll show a video of Ford has pulled up.
Oh, I was gonna say one other. Do you want to pull this up because it's about polo, and then I'll tell you about my other.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. I don't know what it's gonna be. You just pulled it up, so.
Shit, I'm about to be Mr. Ben Hadway. I'm about to shut the fucking game down. Y'all niggas talking about y'all been had food and little petty shit. Nigga, I been had polo. Peep what I got on, nigga. Check this shit out. Hold on. What you got?
This is one of my favorite videos.
What you got? Oh, shit. He talking about he got polo. Polo. Oh.
Polo. Open up the closet. I knew exactly.
Polo. Hold on. Them all big ponies, nigga. Polo. Stop that shit. Polo. Hold on. God damn it. All they getting in the way. Polo.
Yandro, watch out.
Stop that shit. Hold on. Christmas polo. Thanksgiving polo. Easter polo.
Damn.
Summertime polo. Olympic polo. Braid. Man, what the fuck? Hold on, that ain't even it.
Damn.
Polo.
Shit.
Nigga, that's polo. Nigga, this just when it get cold. I gotta keep warm, keep them horses on me. Polo. Now when it's freezing, when I go to the Windy City, that's that butter leather.
Damn.
Touch the camera and get a glimpse of that. Smell
that shit. If see it's real leather. I don't know if it's real leather. You gotta smell it. Whoa.
Take cowhide, man. And then when I'm in the Windy City, y'all see that shit. That's that, man.
What is that?
Man, I don't even know what kind of animal they killed to get that shit on my show.
Is that polo though?
Hell yeah, that's polo, baby.
What the tag say?
Popping polo.
Shit, yeah, you ain't bored.
Polo black and white like I'm about to go to jail or some shit. Polo, man, this polo hooping shirt.
Shit.
Damn, hold on, is this more Olympic?
That was amazing.
What were you gonna say? Were you gonna add to the polo thing?
So
Or
my
something
other,
else?
you asked, you said name two of your favorite or your craziest find. So my other one, which is probably the coolest find. So I'm at like a store, or I'm actually on the way home, and I used to go to a store that I always pass all the time, and it used to be amazing, and hadn't hit there in a long time, and I was like, hey, I'm not gonna go. And there was a lot of cars outside, but then I'm like, you know what? I shouldn't drive by a store and not go in it. It's not like I didn't have the time that day, so I went
opportunity.
Yeah. I find a shirt, whatever, and then I see this in the like jersey section, the sleeve of like a satin jacket sticking out, like an old bomber jacket. I pull it out, and it says Iron Maiden, like 1983 or something like that. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this is too crisp. It's definitely not old. And I look inside, I see the tag. I'm like, oh my god, this is freaking real. And it had like a name on the front. Whatever, I bought it for like $8, brought it home. And the name on the front said Boomer. And I'm like, all right, at least it's a nickname, whatever. It's not, anyone can wear that shirt or that jacket. It'd be cool if I decide to sell it. Well, then I decided to look up the name Boomer. Not only is that the nickname of the drummer of the band, but he owns Rock and Roll Ribs locally here in Broward, right down the street from the thrift store I found it at. And basically, I have the jacket still, and I'm hoping to meet up with him one day and actually get a picture or something just to bring it full circle, find out why it got donated. Maybe it was on display in the store or in the restaurant. They didn't want it, but I literally found something they would put inside of like a Hard Rock cafe.
Yeah, you gotta walk up to him wearing that shit and see if he notices, and then just like.
Oh, dude, it's like a meat, bro. People were. He's a lot smaller. I feel like. Definitely, or like people back then in general were a lot smaller. Everything, bro. We're huge. It's all like the stuff they put in food and whatever. Now, story for another day.
Have you ever found anything in pockets?
What?
Have you found anything in pockets of stuff?
Well, that's actually funny.
Very good. Very
Ray
good
was
point.
with me the other week, and there was a jacket I had for a long time. It was like a random, maybe it was
It was like a New York. It was like a New York Rangers, but like a youth hockey league.
youth hockey. I had it for over a year, didn't sell, and we're unlisting stuff, organizing, and I feel something in the pocket. I'm like, oh, there's gonna be some change, and I pull out I'm like, oh, 76 cents, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, there's a receipt in here. I pull out a small water bill, and it was a couple ones.
$22.
It was like 22.76 or something like that. Either way, someone could have bought that jacket, and I might have sent it out, and they would have made more than the jacket was probably going to.
Yeah.
And guess what? Ever since, I've checked every pocket.
You have to.
Anytime I take pictures, I don't check the pocket maybe physically, like go in every pocket, but I do a little pat down when I lay it down just to make sure. Because like I said, if it happened once, it could happen again. Not only for money, it can be like somebody forgot something was in it. I do it all the time for my laundry. I find money, or we all do when we do laundry. All of a sudden, it's like, oh wow, $20. It's like I just became that. Even though it's your money, it's like you feel like you literally found it. It's like you didn't even know it existed before.
Yeah, I had this Dolphins jacket, and I checked the pockets when I bought it, and had a ticket to one of the games. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Yeah, so I kept it. I don't know where it's at now. I forget what game it was.
What year did the game say it was from? What season?
I don't know. I think it was the 90s.
Do you think Two was the guy?
I don't know. I don't really want to get into that. That's he finally hired a QB coach. So
like personally, or
he got his own personal QB coach. So that's a step in the right direction.
You see, I always get random updates on the kids of wrestlers. Like Brock Lesnar's daughter is Brock Lesnar, possibly. I don't even know. They might be the same person because she's a spitting image. But I got recently saw that Goldberg, the wrestler's son, signed up football to be coached at under Prime at Colorado. It's super dope.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's like you go there. Whether or not they're having a good season, they're gonna get exposure. They're gonna get airtime. People just want to see it. So that's a great place to go if you can show off that you're worthy of being drafted. Like it's a good stage right there.
All right, brother. Well, wrapping it up. Obviously, Broward Vintage, Ben, on eBay. Link is in bio. Anything you want to kind of end?
Yes. Before I
talking about open forum.
Yes, before I go, there was someone I wanted to bring out, a special guest within a guest spot for 1 second. Hold on.
Here we go. I know where you're going with it. He's usually not allowed in.
This might be. Listen, this might be someone you want to see. All right. He's back in the room. It's not Doug. I know.
Oh, I thought it was
Doug. Doug is important. Doug is number one.
Let me bring James.
Oh, what's up, dude?
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing tonight?
What's up, brother?
Yeah, we are out here watching the Panthers game up 2-2, man, going to the third. It's great. It's great.
Love it. I don't know if me and Ben were talking the other day. I don't know if I responded. Nowadays I'm in so many group chats and stuff. I will make it out to your house on a Thursday. We're going to the Panthers game this Thursday, a bunch of us. So keep inviting me. Save my number. I'll come through because you're right up the block for me. So
there's something about a poker night with TNT in the background. You got you got Charles Barkley,
and it's on the water.
It just hits right.
And
you got degenerate gambling.
And you're with the boys.
You get to degenerately gamble as you watch other things you can gamble on. You add 2 extra to the play.
Just want to add real quick. This guy was at the final round yesterday of the Cognizant Classic. Got rained out. Most people left. He was about to leave, waiting for the 3 p.m. call. They resumed play. Only 10% of the entire crowd was still there, and he stayed.
Dude, it was incredible. They shut the gates at 12:30. If you didn't get in there before 12:30 to 3 o'clock, you weren't getting in. By the time they finally resumed play, I had Rory McIlroy. I was able to get a fist bump from the man. It was crazy how close you could get to these players. And
that's
then we
amazing.
went up to the Bear Trap, man. And the bar staff was so happy just to be open again. The pours were a little extra heavy, but for good cause.
Of course.
Giving him free food.
I love it. That's awesome, dude.
The last time this guy, he went to the Live one, and they were following Bubba Watson all day. And at the end, they asked him for a selfie, and Bubba grabbed his phone and took a selfie of all of them together, which was super cool.
Bubba's the man.
Bubba's the man of the people.
Love him. Yeah, he might not be the best as far as ranking, but for the people, he's number one for me personally as far as a human and a personality.
Yeah.
Love Bubba Watson.
I'll say, hey, before we leave you guys, this guy, if anybody listening needs a good divorce attorney, this is the man. Marital law, right
Yeah,
here.
this guy
Hey.
right here.
You guys
And
have some.
also,
You guys have some friends in need. You can call James
Yeah.
Lilly. Yes,
when I'm not watching Panthers games or going to sporting events, I do practice law. So if you ever have
It's
any need,
Oh, yeah.
James Lilly, easy to find.
It's an industry that will not be going down anytime soon. It's only
No.
going
Business is booming in South Florida. But hey, business is booming because
booming.
sports betting is booming and everyone's having the time of their lives, man. God bless this state. You live in the best place imaginable.
We're turning South Florida into Vegas, slowly but surely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh shit, they are.
All right,
All right,
hey,
my brother.
love you guys. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank
It was a
you.
pleasure. Definitely not the last time. And
Yeah.
glad it was on a night like this where you guys are in the same room. I hope I can see Fort before he leaves.
Yeah, hopefully next time we get you on, we'll have like a full on, jump into some of the topics. You're always somebody that gives me topics that they pop up during the week. I add the notes. Next time we'll be on, with whenever we can figure it out on Monday where you're not doing whatnot and stuff. We'll have you on. We'll talk some topics, sports, and crazy fun news that we always discuss while we're in the lab.
Yeah, and Fort, come by. I got some stuff for you, man. I say it every time.
I'll hit you up tomorrow.
You never make it over. But I
I'll
still
hit
Yeah,
love
you guys
you.
live. Yeah, where he's staying, he's 10, 12 minutes away from you, so he's local.
Oh, I love it. And hey, if you see it in one of the bins, there's a white Dolphin sweatshirt. See if it fits. Take it if it fits you.
Love it. Oh yeah, I'll put it aside. It's in my bins that I have.
Yeah.
I'll put it aside. I'll look through it right before he leaves.
All right.
All right, well,
love you guys.
I'll let you say it.
Broward Vintage, enter the lab, exit the lab.
Peace, brother. All right, Broward Vintage, Ben. Like I said, great dude. He's a short, my life, a friend that I gained a year and a half ago, 2 years, and we hang out, we talk every day. So just similar to you, how we built a relationship so quick. Respect him on, not only personally but also business wise, and I'm excited for him to be a part of his business and be a part of the Broward Vintage, kind of like see where we could take it. So
I'm glad we had him on, not just for the obvious reasons for him to come on here and promote his business and tell us how he's built it and everything that he's done and tell his story. But it was also good to have another person on the screen, on the camera. So
yeah,
it kind of keeps
it is different. Yeah,
how we do. Because when it's just us, man, like it's a whole different mindset going into it, a whole different thought process of everything that goes on and how you prepare for it than just us both on here.
Yep.
So no, I'm glad that was good. Definitely, he's our sponsor, so
yeah, he can hop on anytime
whenever he wants. Yeah,
it could be it could even be impromptu, where just like, hey, hop on real quick, send him like now that he knows.
Yeah, if he finds anything dope or
yeah,
something that he wants to really promote, just hop on.
Yeah, everybody's always worried about maybe their setup or their mic or their volume. With iPhones nowadays, they're like built for podcasts. Like as far as video quality, you could hop on and on your phone like he did, and also audio wise, it's always going to pick up. Anytime I edit a guest, they probably have better quality than we do, and we have a whole setup. So if anybody ever wants to come on, like whatever guest wise, we'll try to figure it out, because there's sometimes where not even we know what we're doing when we get into an episode, and we like to freestyle it. We don't like to have too much structure, because I do well with structure, but like I rather just it be more of a free flowing vibe. So
yeah, I feel like you're more. If you prepare too much,
you're
go
overthinking
off topic. Then
and I think
get messed up.
I think that's what we learned early on when we started with the other podcast, where like almost too much structure, too much talking about it, and sometimes the best episodes are like when I'm tired or hungover, and it's just like, hey, let's just hit play and
just bullshit
and bullshit. So that's what we're gonna do now. Thank you, Ben, for hopping on. He'll be back, and hopefully you guys learned a little bit about what we talk about, because we talk about Broward Vintage for the last couple of months. So it's good to put a kind of a face to the name and also the brand. And you don't have to go and support and buy stuff, but go check it out. What's cool about eBay is you can go on his account on your phone, go on eBay, type in Broward Vintage. It'll come up as a seller, and then you could type any item into the keyword search. So like if you like Marlins, type in Marlins, and it'll pull up all of his listed Marlins gear. if you like hats, type in cap or hat or something like that. I do that all the time. I'm telling you, I'll just go on there randomly, him and Mackie, and I'm just like, all right, let's see what they posted this week. And you'll just see it. And you're going to pay way less than you would normally for something that you probably can't find anymore, because it's not like you could go to the store. I personally have been switching my wardrobe to all vintage. Like right here, this is like a early 2000s shirt. This is probably like a 90s or early 2000s hat. Like I'm trying to switch all my wardrobe. Like I like to go shopping at the mall, order clothes. So I'd rather just spend and support my friends that I know, and then get fresh gear that I know nobody else is rocking. Like there's one thing, like back in the day, like if you were in high school or whatever, you used to like, everybody used to go to the local Macy's and like buy shirts, and like
and then
you show up to school and everybody's rocking the same stuff. Yeah. And it's cool because it's like we're a little bit more grown, so we're not trying to like maybe show off it, especially me. I don't really care about that, but there's something about wearing something like a dope piece where you feel confident, and then obviously you're able to start a conversation.
Yeah, like Ben said, it's a conversation starter. It's a conversation piece for sure. 100%.
Hell yeah. I love it.
Absolutely.
So we'll get into some topics. So keep the comments flowing. We see all the comments that you guys are throwing at us. If you want us to talk about anything. One thing, obviously we're big. You're more of a new Curb Your Enthusiasm fan, Larry David. R.I.P. Richard Lewis. He passed last week, and he was on the episode 2 and 3, which was one of the best ones so far this season. And he just made an appearance Sunday on the you can throw up a picture if you want. He was a comedian, stand up for decades. He has a past of alcoholism and battling through that. He died at what age? 76, I think it was. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm trying to think. Yeah, 76. Nailed that. So he's a goat in his industry, and if you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, he's one of Larry's literal best friends in real life, and also in the show. So he always brought a little different flavor to the show. In this episode, he was actually funny doing the AA stand up. That was amazing.
You seen that? Yeah,
I just watched it.
Bro, that shit had me rolling. He had people coming up to him. It's like, oh, great, great show.
That's such a good concept.
It's like, I'm gonna have to get a deal. HBO is coming soon.
He's like doing it. He's in AA. So people who don't watch it, very funny. And comedy nowadays is I felt like it's been dead for the last 10 years, 5 years maybe, and then it's kind of like going through almost like a rebranding and revolutionizing, where stand-up is more popular than ever. Podcasts has to thank for that. Also, comedy with shows and movies I think are going to come back. I think it went through a tough wave for the last 5 years where people get offended over stuff, and I think kind of everybody me and you or somebody that could probably be the most wildest thing to me, as long as it's not like total disrespect. I'll always gonna pass is like whatever, don't make sense. We're doing one of those last Mohicans shows that it's like that show is away. There's not too many quality comedy. So shout out Richard Lewis. He lived a life, man. I'm sure I didn't know too much about it before Curb, even after, but what I had to experience watching him on the show is pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, they posted some good stuff on the Curb page recently of him and like Larry's top 5 arguments and shit. And I mean, just on the season, spoiler alert, they were talking about his will.
Yeah, that was even like more chills. Like the fact they were talking about death right there.
He dies.
It's weird how life works out. Like you write things according to what's real. Mm-hmm. And you could tell, like, obviously they filmed that probably 12 months ago, whatever. But these people are so raw in their comedy where they live off real life. So it was probably like a way to put it in there, and it's so awesome. You could bring up this topic, Sopranos one.
Oh, so this was pretty popping on social media. If everyone's watching Sopranos, I know about main star Adriana. But she was is it?
Yeah, no. Thank you, Evan.
She was talking about on some kind of podcast or some kind of show how she made a bunch of money on OnlyFans, like off rip when she started, and she was able to pay her house off and all that shit. So, I mean,
which even if it's not true nowadays, you put that out there, what are people go do?
They're gonna go
subscribe.
sign up for it.
They're gonna go sign up because like, wait, what is she posting? I'm not gonna lie, I googled it.
I bet you did.
I got a lot of Google searches of, just to give you, I do a lot of at the name and then OnlyFans, and I do my research. But oh my god, dude, she was in that show. Even right now, I looked at some of the pictures she's posting now. Still fine.
Oh yeah,
still fine. Like, look, no, wait, just show that picture. The bigger one, yeah.
This
like
one, yeah.
That's like a goated. Like
that is a goated photo.
Let's let everybody understand how hot she was and still is. There's a legendary photo when she was playing tennis with Carmella.
And she had the FBI guys watching.
Man, yeah. she was necessary for the show.
Super necessary.
Yeah, so shout out her. She's paying her mortgage, and somebody like her, I don't think she's, she was a part of one of the biggest shows ever. I'm sure she didn't get paid a lot of money then.
No, definitely not that. No.
So she's probably making, if it's successful for a few months or years, she's probably gonna make as much as she did on that show. She didn't have any real career after that. A lot of these people think that just because you're on a successful show or you do a movie, we learn years later that they didn't get paid a lot. Like, I think,
especially being a woman too.
Yeah, who said that? Terry Crews or somebody came out recently, was like when he was on Friday or something like that. They didn't get paid a lot of money, like, for those roles. Like, basically did it for free. Because when you're new in the industry, you're trying to earn your keep, and you're gonna take a job, whatever it is. And like, it blows up, and then your post career, then that's when you start to make the money off the marketing aspect.
Or maybe you didn't have a good agent, you didn't really know what you're signing up for, and stuff like that.
And there's a lot of that in music and in acting. So
100%.
Shout out, shout out. Keep posting. I won't pay for it, but I'll every once in a while I'll do a Google search. You did have it pulled up. RIP Chris Mortensen.
Chris Mortensen, yeah. Long-time ESPN personality, long-time NFL guy. I mean, you woke up and were watching football. Chris Mortensen was on your screen. They posted a thing. It was Stuart Scott. It was Chris Mortensen and two other people. And it was the guy that used to do hockey, the older dude. Hockey.
Melrose.
No, not Melrose. Melrose was doing it for a while, but I think there was another one. He used to do hockey too. And it said like end of an era. This is our childhood.
Yeah.
So the Mort Report, all that shit. Chris Mortensen was that dude. So RIP him. I'm sure he was what, 72? Yeah.
That's young, man. I'm telling you.
Especially now, yeah.
When you die in your 70s, when I was younger, obviously you don't have a perspective of life, but I assumed anything over 65 was old. But now I'm halfway there, and I'm like, if I die at 70 something, I will be very disappointed. I'll be dead, but I'll be very disappointed that I didn't, what did I do wrong? I should have done better. Which it always gives me hope, and I think I brought it up on Sunday with a random group of people that I met, because I was talking a lot on Sunday because I was hammered very early in the morning. It's like, people are gonna live longer, as medicine is figuring it out, and health and fitness and all that is being more focused on. As long as you could, when when to stop certain bad habits and you feel your body in the right way, I think people living to 100 will be a lot more common than, how now it's celebrated. Somebody turns 100, it's like they're on the local news, they're on. It's celebrated 101 years old. Wow. But I think as, centuries and decades go on, I think that scale of living a full life will now be when you're 90 and it'll be added 10 years. So we're losing people way too young. Think about it, man. 76 or 72. How many people retire at 65, right? That's the number. Imagine dying
55 you could retire.
Well, okay, but what I'm saying is Social Security.
Oh,
right?
Yeah,
that's the American, you work, you get your Social Security, you get your pension. Usually it's in your 60s. Like my mom, she just got it 62 and a half it was. Imagine, not saying my mom, but let's say somebody else, so I don't put that energy out there. But imagine working so hard for 40, 50 years at a craft and you retire, and then 7-10 years later.
Gone.
Imagine that, dude. Yeah.
No.
And no, I don't. But it sometimes you need to bring up some like dark stuff or like some like deep stuff just to have appreciation of life. And I tend to bring up some topics like that maybe too often, but it does put it when I talk about it. I almost say a negative, but then I try to end it on positive, where it's like just live life, like continue to do things that if you don't like the way it's going, similar to Broward Vintage, he saw something that he didn't like and he was like, fuck it, just switch it up and do a passion instead of being behind a computer for like 10 years. And you're like, especially when you're in your late 20s, early 30s, like that's the perfect time to do it. It's like,
take risks.
Yeah. That's when you want to do it. When you don't have kids or a house. Obviously, he was able to buy a house based on that. So, let's see. I am going to see DUNE 2 tomorrow, matinee, 4 p.m. A few of us are going. It's gotten. Have you seen DUNE 1? I think
I have seen DUNE. Yep.
I watched it with a bunch of people during COVID. We made the mistake of having 8 people there and drinking, and that's not the type of movie you could socialize and watch. You need to like read all the subtitles. You need to lock in. So me and we watched 2 weeks ago, liked it, and understood it way more than the first time. So now, yeah, exactly. For all the reasons. So I'm very excited to see the movie tomorrow because every single thing on Twitter, I think somebody said, I think it was maybe better or Dylan said it's the highest rated IMDb. That's where I go to my movie ratings and stuff. I don't do Rotten Tomatoes or anything.
It's too cool for Rotten Tomatoes.
It's way too cool. Now Rotten Tomatoes is a little scaled in more of the negative way. I think right now IMDb, don't ruin it. Hopefully people don't rush to and start, putting false ratings. But it's the most rated. Let's pull it up now. Actually, I haven't looked at it since.
So I did see some stuff. I saw that it did almost 200 million in opening weekend,
bro.
Which is
that's fucking nuts.
Insane.
So right now on IMDb, it is 9.0 out of 10, and the best movies, whether it's popular movies of all time or like quality, don't even get a 9.0. Like people just tend, society, we tend to be more negative than positive, right? Like that's just in our. I haven't watched the trailer. I don't want to. Are you gonna play a little bit of it?
I'm just showing the 9.0. Popularity 1 has jumped 3 spots.
Yeah, so out of 110,000, I'm sure over the next month that rating will double as far as people. But great things. So I'm excited to watch the movie. It's a 3-hour movie. So
yeah, the first one it was a build up.
It was if I didn't know it was part 1, I'm glad they like said it right away because it was like, all right, a lot of questions I had when it ended, but I'm like, all right, it's part 1. Obviously, it all makes sense at the end. I think that's what this one does. It just ties it all together.
And I'm glad that it was kind of like that because there's not many movies like that anymore.
Yeah, you're right.
That have a build up like that,
and it is a remake.
Pay attention. Yeah. I feel like a movie that was kind of sort of like that was Tenet. I don't know if you saw Tenet.
Tenet's another movie that I watched with people around, not locked in. And I was like, at the end of it, I was like, I have no idea what just happened.
Yeah, you feel kind of pissed off.
You feel dumb as fuck. Like, what just happened?
No, that's one of those movies, the same kind. So, yeah, no, I'm probably going to rewatch DUNE tonight. I don't have much else to do. So I might do that.
Do it, lock in.
But Tenet was like that. I'm excited to watch the second one, too. I might do it by myself up in
why don't you do a little treat yourself. Go by yourself, do a little
They got that IMAX. They got the tallest IMAX in the world right down the street from my house.
Yeah, only here they only have one in Fort Lauderdale with obviously I think it's $20+. We're going to see it in AMC Prime. Mm-hmm. It basically you get the regular digital, which is normal.
It's the one we went to. We saw the Dragon Ball movie.
Yeah, I think so. So Prime is just like in a little upgrade where it's I think a bigger screen, quality screen, and also like more like surround sound or louder, which is you need a little bit upgrade when you go watch a movie like that.
100%.
So I'm not going to see it in IMAX. That's intense, but I will see it in Prime. We only paid $12 a ticket, so
that's fine. Yeah.
Shout out. I'm very excited to wake up, but I got to go to the gym tomorrow in order to reward myself with watching a matinee. I gotta go to the gym.
Fair enough.
I gotta go to the gym. One of the leading, where are we at? We're about an hour plus in, so we're at the tail end, second half. Panthers, Rangers tied at 2. Intense game. You got a couple bucks on this, right?
Yeah. I think like $30.
one of the leading stories this week or last week. So there was a case that came out. I think we brought it up that Diddy. I'll just keep it simple because I don't know all the details. I try not to read into too many things when they first break because it's like, all right, I'll waste all my time reading into it, and then all of it comes out. It's like bullshit because you don't know what to believe.
Mm-hmm.
So usually I just don't really look into it. But allegedly, a few months ago, Diddy came out and he was involved in trafficking or something that was very illegal. Not good, basically. And then now, I think more documents, more evidence being presented, and it's gone wild. Just to keep it simple, all of a sudden there are allegations of him and Meek Mills having a sexual relationship.
Freak Mill.
Him and Usher, and it went crazy on the internet for like a full 2 days. And Meek Mills comes out, and obviously there's one or two ways you could go about an allegation like that if you're being accused of something like that. You either
Especially
say
if you're a prominent figure.
Yes, you
in
either
social media,
especially if it's something like that, where in hip hop it's like that's not a thing that goes together.
Yeah.
Even though for me personally, I wouldn't listen to somebody less because of it, but most people would, which is weird. Music is music; it doesn't matter. Like we just bumped Michael Jackson the other day, and we loved it, and yet he has probably the most severe allegations ever.
Right.
You could either be quiet and not say anything and let it pass, or you could do the Meek Mill thing and tweet every hour for the entire day.
Probably even more often than that.
So
and he was not denying them.
He was not denying it. He was standing on his business, as they say. What do you think about that craziness? And
I mean,
do you think it's legit?
I feel like in that industry, sometimes you might have to do some things that you're not used to doing or don't normally do if you want to get to a certain position. And
I think it could be more true than not. Do it whatever you feel, right?
It's just crazy because the way Meek likes to protect
videos, a lot of suspect videos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That helps cause
himself. He portrays himself as this gangster dude from Philly and always shooting. And like, I think about that, and then I think about him rapping in Tony's story, and I'm just like, nah, this can't be the same dude, bro. Like, come on.
We can't let dreams and nightmares go away forever.
Yeah. So, Panthers go.
Let's go. Let's go.
But I don't know, man. Based on Diddy's past and some of the shit that has come out about Diddy, and a lot of that's not the only source. There's a lot of other people that say similar, crazier things about Diddy and his past and shit like that. So, and especially where he's at in this industry, like Diddy's a billionaire. Like
he's an icon in the game.
Exactly. So, if you want to reach a certain level in that industry, Diddy's probably the person you go speak to, and he's might give you some kind of options that you might not like, but if you want to get to that role and really make money and sell your soul, you might have to do it. Usher, I'm more leaning towards
that. Seems
Usher.
A little less of
you think so? Nah.
I feel like if you had asked me which is more real, I would say the Meek Mill one if I had to. I think a lot of it is just allegations because there's no proof. There's no proof at all about any of it. So it's all just social media running rampant with some documents that came out. So
we'll see where it leads. I mean,
it'll come out.
Diddy's doing the opposite of what he should be doing. He should be trying his hardest to stay out the news and really probably just go somewhere where no one can see him and just stay away from stuff for about 6 months. And he didn't really do that. So also, like I said, if you're at that point in that level in anything that you're doing, it's kind of hard to stay out of it because someone's going to talk about you maybe to just promote their own brand and promote their own stuff. Like, oh, this person said something or brought up Diddy. Okay, well, let me check them out. Let me see where they come from. Let me see what they're doing to see if it has real meaning or any weight to it. So I feel like people use your name to move up and do whatnot. So I don't know, bro.
It's so crazy. Yeah, that's why it's like whatever you do in your personal life is your personal. But in nowadays it's with social media and how we go about life. Everybody like that is famous or celebrity live in a glass house. So you put out a certain thing and then you're maybe shown you were the complete opposite. It is kind of like hard for people. It's kind of hard for people to adjust to that. I get it, like naturally. You project yourself one way and all of a sudden it's like anybody, friend, not even like sexually. Because if any of my friends came out that they were like relationships, whatever, as long as it didn't affect anybody in our lives and it didn't create like drama, and if it was just your personal choice, I would have no problem. And most people would say that, but do you really believe it? I'm somebody that if you're my friend, I don't like you because you like girls. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just being like trying to be 100 and serious about it. It's like, you're not my guy friend because you like girls and I like girls. No, you're my guy friend because I like you as a human being.
That's true.
Most people aren't, you know, I tend to keep a smaller circle of who I, you know, talk to every week. But like you probably could agree to that where that shit don't matter.
I don't know.
Don't look at me that way.
I don't know.
Quick
Love
news.
is love, man.
Yeah, love is love. Who cares? Whatever you got to do, just treat people nice. That's all I got to say. You keep me out of it. Quick. The Supreme Court ruled that they're not keeping Trump off any ballot or which you could take that.
Bro, all these states are trying to get Trump off the ballot. Colorado tried it. This other state tried. I forget which one it was. Illinois was trying, and now
was it Arizona?
I don't think it was Arizona. Okay. I forget. It was somewhere out there. But I mean, that it just as a state, I don't know how you could do that because we, as a democracy, have the freedom to vote for whoever we want. Yeah. I mean, they have write-ins. If I wanted to go vote and put this guy as a write-in ballot, I could do that. You can do it. There's no problem to it. And I mean, you're trying to take off.
Kanye West got some votes.
Yeah, Kanye West got some votes. There was a Tua Tagovailoa fucking write-in someone did last election.
I'm pretty sure a dog at one point got some votes.
People write in whatever. So they're not trying to take anyone else off. And just, okay, we Trump to do some alleged stuff. Biden is really not a good person. You can lean one way or the other. It's kind of the best of both evils. And people were saying that last election, but I think they're waking up and realizing what it is. Yeah, but yeah, the Supreme Court ruled unanimously 9-0 that you can't do this no more. Yeah, stop doing it. Like it doesn't make sense. So I'm hyped for it. It's just that's just gonna stop so much like stuff because, bro, like you know how hard it is to do that. You know how much paperwork, you know how much manpower, power,
so much money,
paper printing,
tax money has been spent on all this stuff.
Off the ballot, and like people, that's just gonna make. They're trying to do it so people don't vote for him. Now those people probably just want to vote for him even more. When you tell someone they can't do something and they're restricting you from it, you just want to do it more.
I think that's what it is. It's not even to be.
They're making him a martyr.
Not even. That's a good point. Not even to be political about it. Like I said, we have our own political views, which we'll bring up on this podcast because we're human and we have our own thoughts, but we're open-minded. We've had people on both sides of discussions all the time.
They both showed up at the border. Trump and Biden showed up at the border. Biden
got lost.
Yeah, Biden got lost. Talking about how there was direct energy weapons directed in Texas or whatever. He flat out said it. But hey, man,
it's about to be. We're now in March. Yeah, it's gonna be weird because the election is in November, so we're just under or just over 6 months out. And once it starts to get 6 months in, we're gonna start to see it's gonna take over all the social media,
all the commercials, all the ads.
We're gonna start seeing all that for sure.
And the ads don't even do anything. The ads is just them.
Whenever you see that, you're like, wait,
they're just roasting each other.
Right?
They're not talking about like anything
you're
they're gonna do. They're just like, oh, Biden's this, Trump's this. Like
it's like putting out an LP or a diss song. It's like just because you say it doesn't mean it's true. Just because you pay for a commercial and say this person lied about this, don't vote for him. Yeah. I support this message. That doesn't make any of what you just said true. But guess what? A lot of people are idiots. A lot of people are dumb. So those commercials are meant for people that lack brains and lack intellect. Let's see here. Just wrapping up this episode. Great episode. 115, like I said, my voice is a little hoarse. My knee is a little shot. Fort is drinking water and not alcohol.
Water.
So that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know for this episode. So we're fighting a little hurt. Let's see. LeBron James, first 4,000 points. Caitlin Clark.
40,000.
40,000
40,000 points.
Incredible. First and only. Caitlin Clark, not only a couple weeks ago, broke the all-time women's NCAA record. Now she is the men and women combined NCAA basketball leader. And she just announced as well with that, she's going to make her draft eligibility, and the number one pick is the Indiana Fever, which I watch Pat McAfee, and he's located in Indiana. So they're going to be going to games, and it's going to be fun to watch her. And Nike always kills.
They really
like
do.
They have things that are ready in
This ad was
advance.
insane.
That ad is so sick. So basically, yeah, if you're watching,
You got her shooting
and in the distance,
on the other side of the street.
this was never a long shot. And the
It's so
Nike
tough,
commercial. Let's pull up the commercial real quick. I thought it was cool enough. So
Probably
Nike
gonna take it off.
You think?
I mean,
Nike did an ad. Not really. Not if it's Nike. Nike did an ad. Like I said, they're marketing geniuses, just like Apple and stuff like that. Where basically this was never a long shot. Basically stands for she's from Des Moines, Iowa, and how not set up for success, and somehow just is this the commercial there?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, just play that. I thought it was cool. 50 seconds.
At guard, 6 foot from West Des Moines, freshman of the year, player of the year, winner of the Stanley, Sullivan, Wade, Lieberman, Naismith, Horton, and several other last name awards. A 2-time All-American first team, 3-time All-Conference first team, 3-time assist leader, 10-time won't miss leader, 2-time tournament most outstanding player, current even more outstanding player. Conference Player of the Year, Player of the Month, Player of the Week, Player every minute, owner of the conference 3-point record, free throw record, triple-double record, the Iowa State Fair shooting record, the women's all-time NCAA leading scorer, and your new all-time NCAA leading
She
Pull
pulled
up
up from
great
fucking like half court.
and drained it. No rim on it.
Straight water.
Yeah. Shout out Caitlin Clark. When I was, I talked about this. When I was in the NCAA bubble in 2021, I was in a hotel with Iowa, and they
With
became
Caitlin Clark?
Yeah, so there was you couldn't interact with them. So even if I wanted to try to get a picture with her, it probably would have been not in my best interest because of COVID, and they were trying to keep the players in a bubble. So
Yeah.
I was at a computer just like this, and she basically was as far as the TVs, basically 15 feet away, just watching her and how poised she is. It's different seeing somebody as poised and in control on the court, but then when you see them in their personal life, how she's not a showboat, she's calm, she's quiet. So very cool to have that memory for me watching the Iowa team, and this is 2 years ago, to watch them move on round after round, and so it's gonna be good. Women's basketball is big because of her again, so we're gonna.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot more women basketball players coming out that are really, really good in the last few years. I don't know. When I was growing up, it was really Taurasi, Maya Moore. Maya Moore is my all-time GOAT. Just the shit that she was doing at UConn is fucking unprecedented. And UConn's always had a really good lineage of women players. Breonna Stewart, she was nasty. She came out a few years ago. She was, you had Brittany Griner, who was just dominant.
Sabrina Ionescu for the Liberty, which I'm a fan
now
of.
you have Ionescu. I feel like those women set it up for what we have now with Caitlin Clark and Sabrina and Breonna Stewart. And I feel like it's probably going to get better. You're probably going to see a lot more women being really, really good in the next few years than you did before. And
her stats are sick.
They need to keep promoting them like that.
Yeah.
Especially if they're that good,
and just keep it about basketball.
Yeah.
Don't make it. I get why maybe on ESPN all these things we bring Reese into it, and I was with Reese
or
whatever. They brought Reese into that thing during the NCAA where she went like this and gender and whatever. But at the end of the day,
Diggins is good.
Media tends to promote these women or a race or something, and then at the same breath they devalue it by even bringing it up.
Yeah,
let's stop talking about women and why it's a social aspect and all. Just talk basketball. Just treat them Caitlyn Clark's a good player. She's a great player, all-time great. She's going to the WNBA. Just talk about that. Don't start talking about either race or gender and now don't try to sexuality. Don't try to. I'm not saying that's brought up, but like it could. Don't bring it. Doesn't. It's not needed. If you're gonna be in the media, I get you have a job to do to like controversial, but like you're doing more damage than good when you bring up everything else but hoops. Play ball. She's great. Let's focus on that.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. So I look forward to seeing her career.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people tuning in to watch her just because of how good she's been. So we want to see how
electric
it translates.
It's funny. She's a hoop. She's a scorer, but she does on her team.
I feel like she's KD, too. Bro. I feel like she's KD. I feel like all she cares about is hooping.
Yeah.
She doesn't have KD's now finally getting into music and whatnot, but he don't even care about brushing his hair and shit. Like,
I was just gonna say, this is something she can't control, and this is just my opinion. If her nose was a little bit more,
all right, so
cosmetically inclined,
so do you think
she'd be a lot more prettier? I'm just saying.
Do you think people tune in more to WNBA basketball game to watch someone that's more good looking rather than their skill set?
Yeah,
basketball
natural.
Or men? As men, or do you think they're tuning in for?
My opinion about that is people like to look at good-looking people. Like that's across the board. Like
facts.
We don't book bad-looking people in movies, which actually I'd argue in movies and shows you don't have to be the best looking. You got to be good at what it is because there's a lot of bad-looking people in the industry that you still feel like I want to watch. Bree loves Donald Driver, like looks-wise, and I don't think of him as a good-looking man.
Oh wait, Donald Driver, not
Donald Driver.
You're talking about
Adam Driver.
Donald Driver, like Bree likes the former Packers receiver.
This is the alcohol brain. But yeah, so like somebody like him, like I don't look at him, and I'll be the first to admit if a guy's good looking,
Donald Driver.
Like that's somebody. So what I'm saying is,
I thought about for a second, Bree looking up.
That would be funny. Yeah, people like to look at good-looking people. Whether it's entertainment or in personal life. So if she was more attractive, no, because her hoops override the attractiveness. So you're right. Fair. So like, I guess it doesn't matter with her because she's so good. So that's not a thing. It's probably almost better for her that she isn't. She's a good-looking girl, but like, I mean, I'm not.
I mean, AB was saying some wild shit about her.
Who?
Antonio Brown.
ABB wilding on Twitter.
CTE ESPN.
There's some times where I'm like, I'm glad you have a Twitter. Somebody like AB having a Twitter is AB's so important because he just says everything out of bounds, and I support that.
He said she looked like Mel Gibson.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! And
Mel Gibson pictures next to her.
Speaking of NFL, Russell Wilson today was released from the Broncos, which is huge.
Well, they informed him that he'll be released.
He'll be released. He also came out with a statement, so it's official. I think they got to eat $80 million.
Yeah. Highest ever.
Yeah. So that lets you know that, hey, we got to pay you to go away and start from scratch with Sean Payton, and it was never going to work out.
Country.
I would love to bring the Giants, because it was rumored a few years ago that we'd bring him in, knowing if you bring him in on a low contract because you have to get high. Why not? Yeah. If he's QB1, the Giants to start the year, and then we draft the quarterback and still have Daniel Jones, maybe whatever. I take that back. We can't. It's probably not going to happen because we have to pay Daniel Jones no matter what after this year, and then we can get rid of him. But I would love that to happen. It's probably not. But Russell Wilson should be in the league.
I mean, he's had pretty good seasons. Like his first season was
he never had an under 9.
Wow. I was just saying with Denver. His first season with Denver wasn't great, but he was good this year. He wasn't bad. I think it just was him and Sean Payton not agreeing on a lot of things, and whatever the case may be. And your quarterback and head coach can't be on two different pages. They gotta be on the same page no matter what.
It seemed like it was set up to not
for him for failure. Yeah.
From day one for sure. The way Sean Payton talked about it, it didn't seem like it really had a chance.
But no, with when he was with the Seahawks, he was great. I mean, he's got a Super Bowl. He's got 2, right?
He's got one.
He should have 2.
But
yeah, I feel if he goes to like a team with a veteran coach with veteran pieces, he'll thrive.
He could be in a
because he's got the mental aspect. He's smart. Like,
he's a team player. He's not going to come in and be the ego of a locker room.
Or they say they make him look like that, but
they've
said
they make him look like that.
His former players have said otherwise. But.
No, you could tell he's not. Yeah. I personally, like I said, sources tell me that he's a good guy.
Right.
He loves God. If you love Jesus, you're a good guy.
He's a family man.
He's a family man. Shout out Future.
He's not the stepfather. He's a father that stepped up.
There you go. Ooh, I like that. So I think there's things in the NFL where you could go to a team, like, for example, even if the like Bears draft a quarterback or Carolina or something, whatever, or not Carolina, but you could get Russell Wilson on a 1-year deal and have your quarterback sit for 1 year. That's a perfect situation. Mm-hmm. Your quarterback learning from Russell Wilson for 1 year, and that seems to be. We watched fucking Pat Mahomes sit for a year and a half, 2 years. We watched.
Look at Jordan Love.
Aaron Rodgers sit for 2 years.
Jordan Love sat like 3 years behind Rodgers.
Now he's hooping.
Now he got a playoff win.
Yeah, so sitting when you're a rookie is not a bad thing. So, and then the other thing, Jason KELCE retired officially, 13 years.
One of the greats at the position.
I'm, as a Giants fan, I'm happy he's retired because that makes the Eagles not as good.
You think this tush push show is going to be that good without him?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No. Yeah, it's things that we just talked about Russell Wilson in Seattle, where it's like a system and a situation. It's you need the personnel. Yeah. So the tush push won't be. We watch teams do it all the time. They weren't successful. So. Shout out Jason KELCE.
Jalen Hurts still about 6+ pounds.
Yeah, Eagles are going to be good, but that's a piece off the field, on the field that you have to replace it. That's very hard to replace. Yeah. This game again. We had the volume on. It probably sounds crazy. Fuck. Turn it on. So shout out. I watched the whole thing. I was watching Pat McAfee. They played the press conference. He was crying the entire time, but it wasn't like you're a bitch cry. It was like you could feel how like if you're gonna cry for 30 straight minutes basically while talking, first of all, the way he wrote and talked about, because he was reading and talked about his story, was like he's a phenomenal writer. And
I mean, you chat GPT, bro.
He has a post career in media for sure. Yeah. He's gonna kill it. So he's he's gonna make more money post career media wise than he did.
You don't gotta sacrifice his brain
for sure. So that's basically it on our end.
I got one last thing on the show, just for clicks and for the algorithm wise, just because I don't really watch anything this dude does, but he didn't look this good on.
Josh Donaldson retired today. Good riddance. Where the Yankees are paying him like $20 million not playing with us. So you go yourself.
This man was tweeting on his stream live.
He's found his way back home, and it's so
That's
true.
Deep,
Lie around.
Look wild.
I know, fuck it.
We all know
that's it.
He's
wild. You know why he did it? Because what's his name? Yeah.
Tweeting that too.
Teaser.
All these streamers.
Tomorrow, everything is getting dropped. Fuck you down.
Everything they do is premeditated, bro. I watched
it. Speaking, bro.
Why did I watch this today?
Because it's everywhere.
I know. He's found his way back home, and it's so true. Lie around.
Yeah, look. That's
I know. Fuck it.
Even people that are tweaking don't even do that. Like, trust me, I've been around a couple people.
Been around some tweakers.
Yeah, I've been around some tweakers, and they don't act like that. That's streamers will do anything for 5 more views.
Pray for Aiden Ross, y'all boys.
Nah, don't pray.
Hope he gets the help he needs to keep going on through his life.
Pray for other people.
Being successful and just
if you believe
move on in his life.
If you believe in prayer.
Hope he gets healthy soon.
If you believe in prayer, there's a lot more people that you should pray for. Wait, we got empty net. Empty net. Let's go.
Double up.
Let's go.
Fuck out of here.
Panthers are gonna win 4-2. Big win in Emmett. No, they're up 2.
Oh, it's 58 seconds.
Panthers are gonna win. That's a great way to end the episode.
Big dubs.
Shout out the Panthers. Well, I'll be in the building, MRM Bank, this Thursday, 7 p.m. Versus the Flyers. It's puck night, so we're getting a free puck.
Night.
I made sure most of the games I go to this year, they're giving away free stuff.
That's your major key alert.
Yeah, I'm not
Fair
stupid. I'm gonna get a $25 worth item for my ticket that I pay.
Absolutely.
So thank you for Ben, Broward Vintage. Hopefully you guys learned a lot about his story and understand why we talk about it, and we rock the clothing. So hop on eBay, hop on the whatnots when he streams them. We'll continue to post. Love doing in-person episodes. It keeps conversations flowing better.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
soon we'll have a wider angle camera
Yeah.
with some actual mics and some people and some
Yeah.
kind of area. You know, we're just trying to figure that out as things go by and locations change and whatnot. You never know.
Not only are we
So,
figuring out personal
trying to
life,
get
we're
that
also
studio.
trying to figure out this stuff
Yeah,
too.
we're
So
trying to
we'll
get that
continue to
studio.
have some
God's
people
working
hop
on
on.
all of us.
Yeah, we'll continue to have some people hop on the pod. Keep it interesting. Keep it keep it going with Enter the Lab. So episode 115 of the Escobar, Fort Sama, Enter the Lab, Exit the Lab. Peace. Thank y'all.